Well, hello, students. Today we are going to look at equations of all kinds of lines. That's what your work was on today. So, this first activity, task 1 here, has you work on this little game here. We can drag this point up and down. So, if you grab point A right there, you can drag it up and drag it down on the line. And notice that this equation over here in the top corner is changing as we do that. So the instructions say drag point A to 3 units and write the equation given. So I'm just going to drag point A, I'm going to drag this blue dot up to 3 units. I'm going to write down the equation. So I see that equation as y equals 1/2 x plus 3. The next task says drag point A to 6 units and write the equation given. Okay, so I'm just going to drag this point up to 6 units. And then I'm going to write this equation that is given here, y equals 1/2 x plus 6. Now this next one says drag the point A to -4 units and write the equation. So I'm going to drag it all the way down below 0, below my origin to -4. And I can see I have a new equation. It gives me here y equals 1/2 x plus -4. Now I'm going to write y equals 1/2 x minus 4 because I know that anytime we have plus a negative number, that's going to be the same as minus that number, right? Plus a negative is just the same as minus. So I can write y equals 1x minus 4. So this next question asks me, in the 3 equations, what changes as you drag the line up and down? What stays the same? Well, as I look back at these 3 examples it had me do, and as I drag this line up and down, I can see only one of the numbers in my equation is changing. I can see that it's just this number right here, this number at the end. It's going plus when my y-axis is positive, and then it's turning negative when my y-axis goes negative. And the pattern that I'm noticing is that number matches up exactly with where my line crosses the y-axis. So I can see right here when it was at 3, it said plus 3. When it was at 6, it said plus 6. When it was at -4, it was minus 4. So I notice as I drag the line up and down, and I'm going to write in complete sentences, as I drag the line up and down, what changes and what stays the same. So I notice that the last number in the equation, or the y-intercept, changes. Also notice that the slope, or the number that's directly in front of x, the number that's multiplied times x, doesn't change. It stays the same. Stays the same. That's what I'm noticing. And why do I think this is the case? Well, what I'm noticing is that our slope, and remember in class we talked about how our slope is just how our graph changes over time. So my slope of 1/2 as I drag my line up and down, it's staying the same. My line, the angle of my line, isn't changing. My slope's staying the same. That's why 1/2 stays the same. But what is changing is my starting point. Where my line crosses the y-axis is changing. So that's the only number that's changing in my solution. So I'm going to write, I think this is the case because my starting point, or y-intercept, is changing, but my slope, the angle of my line, never changes. Never, ever. So that's a look at this first part of the homework assignment. In the second video, you can find below, we will take a look at graphing equations.